Hey everybody, Chris here. Welcome back to another episode of Woodmere Estate Revival. I'm down at the house today doing some more brush cutting outside. The crews have made a lot of progress this week. We'll catch up with that later on, show you what all they got accomplished. But right now I'm trying to get some brush cutting in before the rain hits. You saw in a previous episode where we had cut down all the brush and the trees and fed all that stuff into the chipper. And that was great as far as getting all the brush cleared up and everything. So that really made a big difference. But there's still a lot of brush left behind, heavy weeds and stuff like that we couldn't chip. So today I'm going to focus on getting all that stuff cut down and reveal the last of the bank along the road and get all that stuff cleaned up and really get it looking good. So let me show you where we're starting. So here you can see the bank in front of the house, and there's just a lot of weeds and heavy brush and everything along here that needs cut. Now some of these trees we've left behind on purpose. These are red buds, and they're real pretty trees in the springtime. They provide some nice pretty blooms. So we are keeping those. I'm going to try to transplant some of those to the bank up behind the house. That'll help give us some cover there and provide some nice spring color. So you can see a few red buds along here, and those were left behind on purpose. I got to cut this little poplar down. We're not going to let that grow on the bank. Sumac growing there. There's a holly tree, and unfortunately that thing has gotten just ate up with ivy. You can see the ivy all over it, and it's really suppressed it. It's really got it looking kind of rough, and it's growing right down there next to the wall, which is putting some pressure against the wall. The roots are getting to the wall and everything else. So not sure if we're going to leave that behind or not. For now it's been spared. I'll probably try to cut some of the vines and take care of that. Here you can see where the brush gets pretty heavy again. Around this tree we got a lot of stuff. I'm going to cut these lower branches off. This whole tree is going to go at some point. It's full of poison ivy, but we'll do that on a day when we get the chipper back down here so we can feed all this stuff into the chipper. Branches try to take my hat off, but you can see again heavy brush all along here, and this tree is going to go at some point. This one right here, again full of poison ivy and really kind of suppressed, and it's stealing nutrients from our poplar. We love our big poplar trees. I mean, these things are magnificent. So we're going to do everything we can to preserve and protect them. That includes cutting down little trees and saplings and stuff around them and killing all this brush. But again, heavy brush down all along here. And then in the previous episode you saw me wade through the brush around this poplar tree and really get a lot of this cleared out. But I've got to go back through and get the last of this hillside cut off, all down through here. So that'll make a big difference. That'll really get things opened up, get a lot of light down in here, really open up our views back to the house. This stuff will get cut down at some point as well. These are just kind of trashy trees that have sprung up there in that Pachysandra, so I'll be cutting all that stuff down at some point as well. But you see all these big brush piles are gone. That really helps to open this place up. Still got to do some work on the hillside here. Some of these trees are growing on the side of the hill and kind of hanging over the road. We're going to cut those down. Really continue to work on opening this place up. So let's get started. I'm taking a quick break from the heat. Stepped inside the house here to see how things are going. And as you can see, the crawl space is pretty much spick and span. You guys have been coming in here and sweeping out and sucking out the water. Using a pump to kind of suck out the last of it wherever it pools. And they got these high velocity fans going in here to move as much air as possible and try to pull all the moisture out of the soil. Dug a hole over here. We've been using that to kind of get all the water to run to the hole and then suck it out. You can see there's no more standing water in the back. That was a big area of concern. There was always a bunch of water there. So that's all gone. So now it's pretty much limited around the foundation walls. That's where the crawl space is lowest. So the water's collecting there. And you can see the block is still damp. We think the block itself is just saturated, and the water is slowly leaching out of the block as the crawl space dries out. So it's coming along. I've cooled down a little bit. Got my Stihl multi-tool refueled, ready to go back out, hit the brush a little more. So far I've managed to cut all alongside the road. You see there's just a few little saplings there. That's a little holly. I was going to try to move that, and a little red bud there. If we walk down here, you can see where I've got the top of the bank pretty well cleared off all the way across here. There's a few areas that I'm going to have to tidy up, and then I'll have to go down to the road and work the side of the bank and work it all the way up the road too. Nice hot humid day for this, but it's looking a whole lot better. All this stuff piled here is what came out of the pool, so good compost. We'll have to bring the machine down here and kind of spread it out a little bit. You see all the stumps and everything. We've cut a ton of trees down all through here. So I worked all the way down through here, and when I ran out of gas, I was working on this corner right here. So I'm getting ready to take that out. That's the last big bunch of brush on this side. I'll get down on this bench, kind of work my way across there. I'm hoping to get this bench cleared off enough so I can actually take my little walk behind mower down there. Keep this area mowed all the way across there. So while I'm over working on cutting brush, Amber is in the pool sanding. She's in full beast mode using a 7-inch grinder. Almost cut her leg off. Using a 7-inch grinder with a sanding pad. And is just working the whole surface of the pool. We got it power washed, and that took a lot of the debris off and knocked a lot of the loose paint off, but it's still pretty rough, and there's still quite a bit of flaking. So she's gonna have to work away all the way across the pool, doing the walls and the floor until everything's nice and smooth, and then we'll be able to apply our 2-part epoxy paint. Thing really has some kick, doesn't it, honey? Yeah, trying to cut your leg off.
I'll try. Thanks.
If you do, yell and I'll get an ambulance.
All right, that'd be great.
Unless I can't hear you because I'm over there cutting brush.
I mean, seriously, could I cut my leg off?
No, but you could put a nice gouge in it.
Great.
Have a matching scar on your other thigh. Keep a tight grip on it.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Carry on. So she's going to have to work her way all the way across the wall. And it does. It gets heavy after a while. Big old DeWalt 7-inch grinder. These sanding grit discs definitely make a big difference. And make pretty short work of that loose paint. So she's getting it nice and smooth. We'll check back in with her later. We're just making good progress. It's tough work. I almost got this whole wall sanded off. That sander's heavy, the grinder. Plus we got a respirator on and a shield. Tyvek suit keeps the paint stuff off her skin. We don't know for sure if there may be some lead in like the innermost paint layer, or the lowest paint layer. So we're a little concerned about that. That's why she's wearing the Tyvek suit, respirator, and all that other stuff, just to protect herself. She's making good progress, but it is tough work.
Chris is hard at work. pool. He's been in a pool of his own. A pool of weeds and vines and who knows how much poison ivy. Even though the sander is hard to hold, and I think I'd rather do that than this. Ugh. It's gonna look really good when he's done.
So that about wraps things up here at our big work day down at Woodmere Estate. I've been busy cutting brush and briars and poison ivy, tree limbs, you name it, all along the front of the property, trying to get that place cleared off, let the daylight in, let the fresh air in, open up our views all across the front of the property. So it's really looking a lot better. I'll show you that in just a second. Amber came down and donned her Tyvek suit, respirator, face shield, you name it, and got down to the pool with a 7-inch angle grinder attached with a sanding disc attached to it to start smoothing out the paint. And that was tough work, she will tell you. That thing gets heavy after a while, and that 7-inch grinder's got a lot of torque, and it'll want to jump and jump out of your hands or jump and get you. So you got to be real careful with that thing. So let me show you exactly what we've gotten accomplished here. Let's take a walk down in behind the house. And again, you can see how nice this is all looking. If you look to the side here at the wall, you can see the dirt line. That's how high the original patio was. And we are dropping that patio so that it'll be level with the waterproofing there on the block going across the house. So it'll sit just below the brick. So that's going to work out a lot better. And we're also going to slope it gently away from the house, and all along the back here there'll be a trench drain, and that'll carry any of the water that comes out of the weeping holes. See, there's weeping holes all along here. There's one there, it's got some dirt in it, but we'll have to clean all those out. It'll carry any of the water from the weeping holes, any rain that falls on the patio, and carry all that away from the house. The guys really have that looking good. Here you can see where that hot tub enclosure used to be. One of our contractor guys, Austin, was over here with the mini excavator trying to grade off some of this, getting final grade around this wall, and just used his bucket and got underneath that slab, hooked it, and flipped it over and broke it into pieces and hauled it away for us. Thank you, Austin. Appreciate that. Let's take a look at the pool. And you can see what Amber got accomplished. She's gotten this really, really smooth. So if you look at the far side, see it's got kind of a flaky, yellowish kind of appearance to it. And now if you look here, we're back down to that blue base coat. And she's got it much smoother. So when we go to apply our 2-part epoxy paint, not only will it stick better, but it will also have just a smoother finish, which will be easier on your skin. We got to go down both sides, get the deep end, and once we're done with all that, we got to get the floor all the way around. So we got a ways to go. But again, on this side, they got all the waterproofing done, all the drains are in, everything's carried away and down over the hill to the drainage ditch. Let me show you what I got done. Take a walk down here to the edge of the property. Deer running through the woods over there looking at me. It's one of the things we love about this property is the fact that there's so much wildlife. I mean, every time you turn around, there's something. Yeah, 3 or 4 deer just ran over through the woods over there. So I focused on getting all of this edge here, get all the brush cut, and get all this edge smoothed out all the little tree stumps out. And you can see all the way up through there. I actually ran the riding mower across this several times, chopping up all the leaves, chopping up the last little vines and bits. I got to come through with the chainsaw and take this stump down even with the ground so I can mow across it. But this is an additional probably 6 feet, you know, because the yard used to stop right about here, and now we go clear over to here. So we'll get all this reseeded. This will be much nicer. I still got to work on the bank. You know, there's a lot of stobs and stuff sticking up here that I got to cut down, and I'm just going to take the string trimmer and go all the way across it, knock all this stuff down. But man, it's looking so much better. And again, we've left these red buds for now. Let me try to transplant some of them other parts of the property. And lastly, let's take a walk over here. This is where it really looks impressive. You'll remember that tree had all kinds of branches hanging down. They were dragging the ground in places, and then there was just a solid canopy all the way from here to that big poplar tree. So all that's gone. This stuff that's laying right there is just loose. That stuff that I cut and just kind of piled up. But all that stuff is gone. So I still got to come through and kind of, you know, trim a little bit, but I'm leaving these hollies. There's one right there. And leaving these red buds for now. But cut all these limbs out of this tree so we can walk under here and mow under here. And then all this is nice and smooth and passable again. You can see the stumps are everywhere. I mean, there were little trees and brush and vines and just junk everywhere. There's a big pile of stuff that I hauled up out of here. And then all down through here again. You'll see where I left some hollies behind. Try to figure out what we're going to do with them, but all this is now cleared around this tree, and I cut all the vines on the tree, so they're all drooping nicely. At some point they'll get dry enough and brittle enough that we can actually pull them down. But again, piles of brush, I got to get that kind of hauled out of there. Probably drag it down to the road and go over the hill with it. And then got all this cleared all the way over here. So it's looking really, really good. And now you can come clear down here by the edge of the road. See where I got all this cut out. Left these little hollies. And you can see back to the house now. You couldn't do that before. Of course, there's a portage-on in the way, but it's really opening up this whole area. It's going to let a lot more light in here, make it much more easy to manage. All these vines were in all the trees, and they were just overtaking the place. So there you have it. That wraps up our extended Saturday edition of Woodmere State Revival. It's been a long day, a hot day. Our neighbors, which we love to death, just came by the house, the one we're actually living in, and dropped off ribs and sides from their son's restaurant. And my stomach is growling right now. I'm starving. So I'm going to go to the house, get a shower, and have a good dinner. We'll come back down here tomorrow after church and hit it again. Still got a lot more to do, a lot more cleanup. I'm going to jump in the pool tomorrow with Amber and help her sand. I've got a 4.5-inch grinder as well, so I'm going to pick up a sanding disc set for it so we can go ahead and use the 4.5 and the 7 and work on all the sanding and everything together. So that's probably what we'll get into. Should be lots of fun. It's going to be nice and hot and sunny tomorrow. They were talking about rain all day today, but we really never got any significant rain, so thankful for that. Thankful for you guys hanging out with us today. Please be sure to hit that subscription button so you don't miss a single episode of Woodmere State Revival. Give us a like if you would, please. Feel free to leave comments, questions, anything like that in the section below. And as always, please share the channel with your friends and family. We really enjoy doing this and sharing this project with everybody. So please pass it along so we can get even more viewers over time. Thanks. See you again real soon.